Me a spider, spider me a spider, spider me. Gotta make spiders. Well, why am I making spiders? That's a good question. Well, simply because there's no need to build them from scratch. We're not actually making spiders. We're going to just do some conversions because it's so easy to get spiders. I mean, you go into a toy store, you're going to find spiders for sure. It's not going to be a big deal. There's no rigmarole, nothing like that. So that is why I'm doing it that way. Didn't make any sense to go and build it from scratch. So we're going to get cracking and start getting on with this. I do know that I had planned to do this yesterday, but something cropped up, and that is why I didn't wind up doing the video yesterday when I originally scheduled it, and I've rescheduled it for today, and that's why it's happening today rather than having it happen yesterday. So I do apologize for anybody who was like confused or annoyed by that. It just, things cropped up and I needed to go and do other things. So let's get started. Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We might as well, but really we're here to convert some toy spiders that I found in a very cheap emporium, a Chinese emporium, a Chinese import store, something like that. You should be able to find some plastic spiders yourself. I don't know where, but you look around hard enough, they usually make a lot of them. Dinosaurs and spiders and insects seem to be one of those things that are easy to actually access, so you don't have to go and make the whole thing from scratch, which would be a complete drag. So there are a few things you will require, and I've put most of them down in the description, but I've actually purchased something. I purchased two other things to make things a little bit more interesting today, just for those of you who wanted to sort of do a little bit more rather than just a quick convert. So we are going to go through this. I'm going to show you all of those, all the tools that I'm using and all the materials that I'm going to be using. So first off, I have my plastic spiders, which I got from my Chinese store. And by all means, guys, this is my day off. You can chat with me about anything. I don't have a problem. We can talk about anything, whether you're a player, a dungeon master, a crafter, who cares. So I got these. These are really, really cheap. It cost me $2.90 New Zealand, which I don't know how much that would be in your country, but for me, it's pretty cheap. It was worth doing it. So I bought them. I made myself a whole lot of large size bases, and I made them from MDF board, and I have a hole saw and a drill, and I just drilled them out, and I've already done a video on how to make these anyway. So making your own custom large size bases, really helpful, particularly if you're making your own miniatures. So I've got about 8 here. I think that should be enough to cover everything. So, and I've done a bit of sanding. I put them on the electric sander and sanded all the corners down so they're nice and tidy. This is the spider. Look, I've got 2 of these, but trying to get more of them is actually really, really hard. In fact, almost impossible. So I've been planning to do something like this for a very long time. So that's what we're trying to make today. I've got myself a hot glue gun, because we're going to use the hot glue. A spare glue stick, because I'll probably think I'm going to run out. I know I am. I usually do. I've got just a lid of a container to put my grit in. So I went and bought from the game store, and you don't have to go and buy it from the game store. I went and bought some grit, but you could go down to the beach and just get some sand. Yeah, it's cheap. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for it. Why not? Makes perfect sense. Me going to a game store and buying grit for $5.50 New Zealand makes no sense. I should have gone to the beach, but I didn't. I didn't have time. Sorry. Okay, so that's what I got. And then I got myself some PVA glue or white glue. It's just crafting glue. Really cheap, nothing to it. I've got myself 2 sizes of cutting knives. Now, I would normally have my Stanley knife, but I cannot find it for the life of me. I need to make sure I get that back. And that's going to be used to trim and tidy things up a bit. And I've got my sort of dual tools just in case I make a mess of things, but I don't think I'm going to be needing these. I think actually you could get away with just a wooden skewer or something like that. So I'm going to plug in my hot glue gun and just grab a swig of water. and let us get on with this. So first off, I don't think I'm going to put the sand out till I'm going to do that last. Otherwise, I'll knock it over, right, and make a mess. So, oh, they're all tied in. Well, that's super helpful. So for those of you who keep up with my channel, I have been shooting videos today. I've been shooting spell videos, and I've done about 5. A lot of the healing word, heal, goodberry. What else did I do? I think I did tongues. I think I was planning to do shield, but I never got to it. And there was something else as well, but I can't remember. What I have done is I just finished doing the video on sneak attack for the rogue. So I can't count the number of times that people have been commenting about sneak attack on the videos I did on stealth. And they're not really designed, those videos, to be talking about the rogue sneak attack. I cover it very briefly, but they will be available in the coming weeks or in the next week, who knows. I just need to put some time in it and edit them and get rid of all the ties. I'm going to pull these off real fast. So one of the things I noticed about these spiders is they've got little antennae in the front, which I don't really like. This one's already broken off, so I'll just tear it off. So I'm already tempted to just cut those off right now because I don't really want them. Keep the ties though. I always find myself using ties. That's always a plus. And you could do this with pretty much any kind of creature or animal that you want to have as a miniature in your game. If you want to base it. This is essentially what we're doing, is we're trimming and tidying, make sure it's going to fit on the base, gluing it in place, giving it an interesting base, putting some grit on it. You can use flock if you wanted to, it doesn't matter. But I just wanted to get rid of the little antennae. Hi Robert, how's it going? Can you do one on a grappler build, please? Yeah, I can get around to doing that. You mean a character build for the grappler, right? Antonio, how's it going? Trim them so the antennae looks like a pincers. Yeah. I actually think I want to get rid of it just doesn't look, it looks weird. I actually want to trim them right off. The little antennae things in the front. Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I can paint them later on, which is what will happen. We're just going to clean off these. And is my little knife going to cut, or do I need to go to the big one? Okay, there we go. Trim. It's the first one. Yeah, there's going to be little bits of plastic flying everywhere. For those of you who are hoping to see like a complete build or a from scratch video, they're not gone. Okay, so if you're worrying about I'm not getting a complete let's make a monster, they're going to happen. I haven't stopped doing it. All I'm doing is I'm doing this because I've had these floating around forever and I feel like I should have done something with them. See, I feel like this looks better than that with the antennae. I don't like the antennae at all. So that's why I'm trimming them off. I did notice in the store when I was doing a little bit of shopping that there are some giant scorpion plastic miniatures. Well, not miniatures, they're just plastic, maybe rubbery ones. And I thought that would be cool. Because getting a giant scorpion, that's actually quite difficult. I mean, they did produce one not so long ago, but getting one, that's always the hassle, right? So I thought that would be cool to actually convert. I bought these little spiders from what's called a cheap store. You could probably pick them up from a $2 store, a $1 store, a $3 store. It's like one of those cheap import stores. I don't know if you have them in your country. I would imagine you do. Most places do. It's just a lot of the stuff that gets dumped onto the market from China. If you've got any kind of restrictions in terms of dumping in your country, then maybe you won't. But I think you'll be pretty safe. I think China's managed to get in on everybody's action right now. What's that, Robert? we use Hero Clicks or Mage Knights. Yeah, rebasing Mage Knights or Hero Clicks. I've actually got a whole lot of superheroes I want to rebase at some point, but I'm still tossing up whether I'll have time to do that. We might do it, we might not, might leave it. I can't get access to Mage Knight, so it's not really a cheap option for me, Robert, but I do know that a lot of people do suggest doing that. Even the Star Wars miniatures are pretty cool. You know, some of them look like monsters and creatures that you could use in your game, so it makes an awful lot of sense to actually grab them as well. Okay, so I've got my spiders all trimmed up. I've got the little antennae off. And now my problem is, here's the base, and here's my spider. And the legs extend beyond the base. Oh dear, what do I do? What's that, Antonio? Can you do a side-by-side comparison of the nice spider and the cheap spider? Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I can. So here's the comparison. This is the actual miniature that you can get from Wizards of the Coast. This is the cheap, nasty one. So there is a difference. You can see one is obviously been designed to fit on the base, and this one doesn't fit on the base. But I still feel like it's something I can fix. All it's going to require doing is pushing a few things around. There's a little bit of flex in that plastic. Not only that, I'm pretty sure I can just trim off the feet or legs a little bit so it won't be quite so wide. Otherwise, it's going to sort of, you know, when you put a miniature around it, you want to put somebody beside the base, it's not going to work out too well. Yeah, well, you can, but they'll only flex so much. Otherwise, they're going to snap. They're not as rubbery as you might think. So I could do that, but honestly, Robert, if I try to flex them too much, that's it. These toys by Safari that really make good D&D miniatures. Yeah, no, I've seen those. It's not a bad idea. Right, I'm going to the bigger knife because now I can get away with it without chopping off things that I wasn't supposed to chop off. And I'm just going to trim little bits of plastic flying everywhere. There we go. Now I did see some dragons, really toy dragons that you could use as well. I actually have, I don't know if any of you guys have had any luck getting a giant ape, but I found this the other day. I found myself an ape, and it's a squeezy toy. I can feel the air coming out from somewhere. I don't think it's from its rear, but this seems like a really cool thing I could use for a giant ape. I just put it on a base, maybe repaint the face a little bit, and that would work out quite well. We're going to probably do that some of the time. I've got a whole lot of other things I want to do. So let's just trim. Now I can still push the legs in a little bit. I just can't do it too much. I feel like that's probably enough. Let's trim off there. Yeah. It's making the spider legs a little bit shorter. There we go. All right. Okay. Now, that one is still going to extend a bit too far over, so I'll trim that again. I'll do that same thing on the front. Now, whatever plastic toy you find, you're going to have to make some adjustments to make it all fit. Otherwise, it isn't going to fit, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to just trim off there as well. There we go. Right, giant spider, and I'm going to force the legs in a second, but first let's glue this on. I don't really want to lift the spider body off the base because it's a good contact point. Remember, you need a nice contact point, and I've got this, so I'm going to fill up that section with glue so I can actually stick it on. Where am I getting my bases from? Well, you can buy bases, but this is MDF board. It's about 5mm thick, and I cut it out with a hole saw. That's all I used. It's really simple. Alright, so we fill up the inside of my spider so it's not hollow anymore. And oh, there we go. I knew the sticks would run out fast. We'll feed in another one. And continue squeezing glue in there. Then I'll leave it to set, come back, and then I'll stick it onto the base. Alright, one upside down spider done. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to do all of the insides of these right now, so I don't have to come back and do them later. I'm not going to do, I will actually get the first spider done reasonably quickly. All I'm trying to do is just wait for the glue to dry on the first one. And I'll fill up the rest of these with glue so there's something to attach it to. I did the same sort of thing. You know, horses, if you want to have horses as miniatures in your game, because your party are constantly riding horses, and really the only reason to have horse miniatures is so that you can polish off the horses with your fireball or some other thing so that they have to go and buy another one, right? Well, I always felt that was the case when I was playing the game and somebody else was dungeon mastering. But yeah, you can base just a toy horse rather than monsters, and that gives you a horse, and you can then put your miniature on the base, which I think is a really good way of utilizing all the little things that are available to you. So you don't have to go and buy all the expensive miniatures if you don't have the money. Nowadays, I don't have the money. Even though they are there. I was looking at them yesterday and I was like, I remember the days. I remember the days. Okay. Face repaint. Yeah, I think that that giant ape with a face repaint would work quite well. I've actually got two of them. I've also got something else. And my players keep making comments. You know, there's always the comment about, oh, you know, when you're level 1, the only thing you're going to be killing is rats and goblins, right? Or maybe kobolds. But rats come up. And I got myself an enormous rat. And I want to put it on a base and make it a disease-spewing monster with a whole lot of different features and abilities. And that's just a toy rat. That's just over large. But anyway, back to the spiders. Alright, I'm almost done all of these, and then we'll go back to the original one and we'll continue finishing that off. Gotta love the glue gun. That solves an awful lot of problems. Alright. Sticky. Oh, they're all stuck to each other. I have to be careful, otherwise they're all going to go flying everywhere. Okay, there's my original. And it's also stuck to something. They've got their own cobwebs. Okay, so I'm going to grab a tool. And like I said, you only just need like a wooden skewer or something like that. Anything you can sort of poke stuff with, just to make sure the base is mostly dry. Okay, that is. And I feel like that is about the right position. And I should be able to glue that in place and bend the legs in. Alright, so one hot glue gun. Here, yeah, I do remember Warhammer having some amazing giant rat monster things. They were like rat ogres or something like that. I'm pretty sure my brother had some of them a while back. Okay, there's the glue. And now we just need to make sure it's in the right position before it sets. Hold it down. Now I don't want to move that and start doing the legs until the body's actually set in place. So we'll put that aside. I'll put it forward. Forward, backward, does it matter? Not really. Okay. So let's check some of these other ones. That's nice and hard. So I'm just waiting for that to set before we move on to the next step. And I figure I'll check my other spiders. make sure that I can start working with them. Oh, that's still a bit soft. You're hard, you're not. And grab these. Oh, sliding around. Generate their own cobwebs. That's still soft. That's hard, good. And that is still soft. Okay, so there's a couple that are still drying. So I'm going to just put them over here for now and let them continue to cure. And it's just a matter of grab another base. Now this should be set in place now. Yep, right, let's move on to them. I'll come back to you guys in a second. Right, so now I want to start gluing the legs on. So there's a little bit of play. I'm going to have to do one at a time. And when I do glue them down, I suspect there's going to be quite a bit of force. The plastic wants to push it back out. So blob the glue. Push the leg in, push the leg in, and hold it, and let it set. I should have brought myself like a gun to dry it with, to make life a little bit easier. If you can get spiders that are exactly the right size to put onto your bases without making adjustments, then do that. That's going to be a lot simpler. That plastic's actually quite tough, so it might spring back on me. I wonder if it will actually hold it. Yeah, it's going to be actually quite difficult to make it. It's still soft though. The glue's just still setting. There we go. That seemed to have set in place. Make sure it's nice and hard. Yep. We just got to do the same thing with each one. So a little bit time consuming, but like I said, if you can get yourself some toy spiders that don't require too much trimming. Oh, just broke free. I don't know if you saw that. It just came free, so it didn't work. So clean the glue off. Alright. So we're going to have to just trim them right back to the base. I think that's going to be the only way to make it work. So much for that. I thought that would work easy peasies, but no, apparently not. There we go. And I still want to stick the legs down, so if you thought I'm just going to have them sort of up in the air, no, that's not really what I was planning to do. I do want them stuck down. Okay. Alright. There's always successes and failures in all things, right? So let's try that again, but this time I should be able to get this to work a bit better. And I'm going to do 4 of them all at once. So glue in there, and then hold all 4 down in place. And then wait for it to set without burning myself, right? You know how I like burning myself. I've done it enough times as it is. Every time I make something, I burn myself again. It's like if you're going to use a hot glue gun, at some point you're going to burn yourself. Yeah, Warhammer miniatures are probably one of the most expensive miniatures I've seen. There are ways of getting Warhammer miniatures that are cheaper, but you have to buy them online. You can't really get them from a game store, and a lot of the original casting is copied. A lot of the Chinese manufacturers copy the original castings, and they make a whole lot of knockoffs. But there's also, some of those products are also made in China. So once they're finished making the Games Workshop products, they'll use the same line and same molds and make exactly the same thing, and then release it and just call it something else. And I'm pretty sure you can buy those sorts of things out there. Not that I'm suggesting that you should do that, but you know, Games Workshop they charge an arm and a leg for their stuff. I'm hoping that my spider legs will stick in place this time and don't go popping up, but you never know. I might have to do this a couple of times. Alright. Spider legs have stuck. Ha! Just the last one, I had to pull it round so much, it was just too much, I guess. Okay. Oh. Where is this? Just going to get my knife in there. Trim that up. And it's time to do the other side without burning myself. I don't think that's likely, but... and then squeeze them down and then just hold them in place. So what are you guys working on in terms of projects? This is obviously going to be taking me a little while. It's not like I'm going to be sitting here for a short period of time trying to do little spiders. It's probably going to take me ages just because I've got to try to bend things, and it's not exactly what I was after, but you're never going to find anything that is exactly the same. So I'm definitely going to do something with the giant apes that I've got. I'm definitely going to base them and use them at some point. So I'll do a video, I'll do a live stream. I've been thinking really hard about the next miniature that I should make on YouTube, and I feel like elementals are a good one simply because there isn't really enough of them. They're hard to get. They should be very simple to make. I don't think that they would be hard or difficult. They're pretty simple. The only one that I would have concerns with is the water one, and in particular I would say the air elemental. I don't think the fire one's going to be an issue. I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody use some pretty cool tactics and strategies and methods for making that. So I'm going to try to duplicate a lot of that so I don't have to invent the wheel or anything like that. Alright, so that is it stuck in place? I hope it is. Alright, that's where's my little tool. Let's just check to make sure it's nice and hard. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard, and that is hard there. Okay, so that's one spider with its legs glued down. And if you feel like you need to put more glue on, then by all means do it. Just remember, don't mount the existing glue, otherwise it's going to spring free. So I'm going to do that because I don't want them coming free. Just a little bit on there, just anywhere where I can reattach without it breaking free. And I do that again on the side, just like that, and in here. Because I am going to be covering up all of this with the grit. That's why I bought the grit in the first place, so I could just cover it all up. Alright, so while he's sitting there setting, grab my little container, I've got my grit. I've got no fingernails to pull this apart, so that'll be fun. Go. And all I'm going to do is just cut a little slit in there, hopefully not too big. And where's the seam? Is it there? I think it's there. There we go. And I might just cut that free completely and tape it up later. I think my blade is getting a little bit blunt. It's time to replace it. Right, take my grit, chuck my grit into the container here. I don't really need to have a huge amount. That's way more than I'm probably going to need, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. Put the rest over there for now. I'll take that up later. And now, now that my little spider leggy thingies have all sort of set, well, they should have, I can start applying my my white glue to the base, which is what I intended to do in the first place. You could try scratching the surface on surface, or even drilling the surface so that the glue will bond better to the base. Yep, scratching the surface. It's actually pretty scratched already because of the sanding that I did. So, yeah. Oh, some of them did come free. Alright. That is not... Oh, okay, that's... No, that's alright. That's fine. I'll glue that one back on though. Not really happy about that. Come here, you. Stay there. Alright, so I'll just hold them in place. Give them a blow. Most of the bases that I've done, they've already been scratched up. I use quite coarse sandpaper. So even though it looks smooth, it's really not that smooth at all. But yes, scoring the surface will help bond it. I think the biggest issue is just the amount of pressure that the plastic's putting on the glue. That's all it is. But I think I've got it just about sorted out. Let's wait for that to dry. Yep. Alright, so a little bit more drying and she's done. And the other ones are pretty close to, yep, they're all stayed in place, so I don't have to worry about them. What's that, Antonio? If anyone knows an old Warhammer player, they probably had Skaven ogres. Oh yeah, that's right, the Skaven ogres, yeah, from the island of Bloodstarter set. They don't want. Oh, you're fishing for stuff. Go for it, man. Go for it, Anton. If you can get somebody who's got what you're looking for, that'll work for me too. All right. That should have stuck in place. All right. So now that PVA glue or white glue. Oh, to unscrew completely, or is it just going to give me difficulty? Come here. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to apply a little bit around the. Oh. Yep. Should have noticed. There's a cap in it. I have to get the cap out before I can get anywhere. There we go. Now I might be able to do something. You can tell this is a completely new bottle of PVA glue. Alright, okay, now it'll work. Sure. Famous last words. Normally I would use exterior PVA glue because I just feel like it's stronger. But you don't have to. It's not a big deal. It is only grit that it's having to stick. Nothing else. Spread the glue. This glue doesn't set very fast, so I've got time to move it around. Like so. And now there's a reason why I didn't base it before I stuck it on, and that's because I want the legs to sort of fall into the base material. And I don't want it sticking, I want it sticking to the wood here rather than to anything else. Which is why I'm basing all of it after I've put the spiders on. Alright. Because it'll hide anything that I might have had problems with. Well, that's my theory anyway. That's what I usually do. Okay. And I'll just coat that. It's just getting it underneath and between, around. A little bit fiddly to get around the and underneath the legs, but not too hard. That's why I said like a tool of some kind or metal stick, sculpting tool if you've got those, but you know, just a wooden skewer is good enough. Toothpicks, use toothpick. Okay, and oops, almost poked it in there. Let's do the other one, get all the glue that I want around the other, underneath there. I don't really need to worry about the glue sticking to my tool because it can all peel off later, that won't be an issue. And there we go. A little bit fiddly, a little bit messy, and now I should be able to just sprinkle it over. And all right, let's have a look and see how we're doing. Have I covered most of the areas that I needed to? Yes, it's coated. And the cool thing is that you really can't tell that I have had to use a bit of glue to hold the legs down. Most of that is going to be sort of disguised. So there's my spider, and there's the original miniature. Not exactly the same, but I think it'll be a good substitute just in terms of just having a whole bunch of spiders you need to drop down on your players. So now all I've got to do is do all the rest. So if all you were showing up is to see how this was done, it's done. It's not that difficult. It's pretty simple. It's not a technical job or anything like that. So by all means, if you feel like you've got all you need, this is a good time to leave. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep pottering along, having a chat, and just tidy up the rest of them, because that was my intention. To spend this time. This is my time, my play time, my hang out with people and just do stuff. And rather than doing it privately, filming it. Well, streaming it. Okay. Spider chopping legs off. I was talking to John Shackle about doing some more videos, and we were discussing doing feats from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. I don't know when that's going to take place, but it will. It'll probably be the next project that I do with him. So if that's the sort of thing that interests you, it's coming. It's just not there yet. We'll get it done. I just got to make sure I get a time and a day when he's available. And we're usually doing most of the shooting with John. I'm doing that on Thursday, so it works out all right because I have Thursday off, and then I go and DM my Dungeons and Dragons game. What's that, Antonio? Do you have a hero character for size comparison? Yeah, sure. I'll get you a couple so you can see a comparison. So here's a couple of characters. Here's a sorcerer, here's a fighter, there's Dritz, and that is the giant spider. So there's the comparison in terms of what I've been working on. Original giant spider. So I personally think it's going to work out fine in terms of size. I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. Right, I'm just going to start trimming off legs here. think I can just take those bits off real fast. That's pretty much what you were after, eh? In terms of a size comparison. Okay. One of the more frustrating elements is I was part of a second group who were playing on Friday. So I play on a Thursday night. I was playing on a Friday, and they're really struggling to get people into their game. And it's a face-to-face game. It's not online. And with me out of the picture, I'm not too sure they're going to be able to keep playing, which is, you know, I feel really bad about that. But there's not an awful lot I can do about it. It's just in terms of work. Work sort of just tells me when I'm going to be working, and that's it. So until I have more control over that sort of thing, which I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon, there's nothing I can do. But I don't know. What about the rest of you? Have you had a situation where you feel like you had to give up running a game or playing a Dungeons and Dragons game because of work? Has that happened to you? I know it's going to affect the second group that I play with. That's my home group. It's the guys that I hang out with the most. Alright, and that's another spider done. So for those of you who are worried that this is going to take me forever, I am trying to be speedy about it. And as I said, we've already made one, so you don't have to hang around for the whole video. What's that? Antonio. I actually like these spiders better. The real one looks like some weird crab. Did you paint those heroes yourself, or are they pre-painted? No, they're all pre-painted. That Stritz comes from the Icons of the Realm starter set. This is a Pathfinder minute. Those are both Pathfinder, actually. They're not actually... they're not Wizards of the Coast. They're all from Paizo, but they're all manufactured by WizKids, so it doesn't really matter, does it? I think it's just the specs they give them, isn't it? You know, in terms of paint quality and sculpting quality, who they get to do the job. They've got control over that in some way. Anyway, let's move these down out of the workspace so you'll still be able to see what's going on and get a size comparison and a visual comparison. There we go. All right. Man, I bought these so long ago. It was funny. I've been looking around for spiders that would be suitable for ages, and I think the reason I decided I would do it is I saw DM Scotty on the DM's Craft using what looked like little plastic spiders he had found in party favourites, but you can't be guaranteed of getting little spiders in party favourites. You know, you just got to get them where you can find them. There we go. Ra la la, ra la la la, la la. There we go. Nipping them off. Just trim, nip, nip. Okay. You know, I don't know, when I was doing that video on Sneak Attack, I was thinking to myself, why did I not do a dedicated video on Sneak Attack a long time ago? Because so many people have asked questions about it, and it keeps coming up. And I think I found there's two videos that people have done that discuss it. So looking at the Sneak Attack and trying to find something new, so you weren't just getting the same material, was a little bit tricky. But yeah, it's weird that it's one of those things that people ask about all the time, but there isn't an awful lot of information. I guess most of it will be on the Reddit or the forums discussing it. Okay, so my spiders all been trimmed. their bodies are filled with glue, and now it's just about making sure that they are going to fit and their legs are the right size for the base. So I'm feeling like it's actually going to be easier for me to glue them in place and then trim them up after. So I just need to get them in the right position and then stick them on. That's what I'm going to do. Speedy. Let's get it done faster. We're on a time limit here. That's one. And position so that I get as much of the legs on as possible. Feel like that's not too bad. I'll trim you up in a second. Put you aside. Let's do the next one. It's the production line now. Right. And then squish it down. There we go. Get rid of little stringy bits. Plonk here over there. And another one. I've still got like a bunch of is it spell book cards that I'm supposed to review. I just haven't got to it. You know, to be fair, even though I know they're very popular, I just haven't been wanting to do it. One of the parts of my week that I cherish the most is actually hanging out on my day off, making little miniatures or just farting about. And the weather is starting to get colder, which means I can go back to painting. I was never that good at painting anyway, but I can still start live streaming the paint videos at some point, which means that all those miniatures that I started making, all the monsters that I made, they can finally get painted. So I get some stuff that's actually complete at some point. I've been wanting to do that for so long. Humidity is always an issue with paint though, you know. Too much humidity, nothing dries. Alright, Mr. Spider, you're on. And 3 more to go. Yep. So what projects are people working on themselves? Think about what's happening here. I've been at this for about, I don't know, what is it? 47, is it 47 minutes? 47 minutes I've been at this. I've done 1 complete, and I've got about 7 on the way. So there's no reason why you can't get this stuff done in the time frames that you got. A little bit of time at night maybe, when the kids are down, you're not at work, things like that. I love it. YouTube was trying to play an ad for me. Do you guys have to have ads playing while I'm doing this? I always thought the ads played like after the video was published and it was no longer live. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It's always possible. Okay. Squish him down there like so. We're getting closer. Another one to go. This is one of those monsters. This is why I wanted to do this, because you need so many to... When you do spiders, you don't want 1 or 2. You actually want a whole bunch of them. Just makes it more interesting. I keep thinking of that scene from... Oh, what is it? The Hobbit, where the hobbits are getting strung up by the spiders that Bilbo can hear because he's wearing the ring. I think of them. And I always want like a whole bunch of them that I can use all at once. But you've got to have enough. So hence why I'm doing this today. What's that? What's that? Antonio, paint some WizKids deep cuts heroes now. Oh, you're painting those. Oh, deep cuts, yes. I've finished up 2 rogues, 1 monk so far, and no, add some so far. All right, oh, cool. I do remember somebody talking about the deep cuts. I just haven't really seen that much on them. I'm struggling to have time to watch other people's videos right now. Today is usually the day when I do that sort of thing. While I'm editing and doing metadata and sorting out the next video, things like that. Here we go. Yeah, Trimmity trim. Well, the good news is, so far I have not managed to cut myself. But there's still a lot more cutting to go, so that's that one done. He's all trimmed. So, man, I miss my Stanley knife. My big heavy Stanley knife with the heavy blade, I miss that a lot. Okay. Oh, he's not doing so well. Is he stuck on? No, not really. Let's do that again. I'll try again. Alright. Squeezy it down. And press hard. I'll put you over there till you dry. Okay. Here we go. So for those of you who are wondering what is happening tomorrow, the Barbarian series that I've been working on is going to continue. And I think the last one I did was unarmored defense. And maybe I wasn't completely clear in unarmed defense. I think maybe from some of the comments I realized maybe I needed to be a bit more clearer. So I'm going to try really hard with the next one to make sure I spell things out. But they should keep going for a couple of weeks. And after that I'll probably do, I don't know, I would say tactics videos, monster tactic videos. They'll come back once I've done the Barbarian. And that's all sort of done and dusted. And I've already started compiling information and just doing all the prep for the Paladin. So for those of you who wanted to have a class guide on the Paladin, that will be coming in the months to come. It's on the board. And I would say I'm about halfway to a third through that whole process. Okay. Hard bits of plastic. At least I know they won't break. I'm struggling to cut through them and they're probably not going to break. And they're all glued onto the base so that I feel like this is much more likely to break than anything else. What's that, Antonio? There aren't many videos on deep cuts. Try doing a Google image search for painting WizKids deep cuts. They're lacking on the fine detail, but they are amazing for the price. Well, it's good to know. I thought, what was it? Has anybody watched Blanco? Blanco's got a YouTube channel that deals with miniatures, and I think he's doing he was doing a review of, or an unboxing of Monster Menagerie 3. I actually liked the first Monster Menagerie, but after that I just didn't like them. And the reason being is I feel like they didn't answer the holes in the monsters that people were looking for in the first place. So if you don't sort of meet the market and you just reproduce stuff that you've done before and they're not very good and a bit undersized, that's annoying. But yeah, I'll have a look at the deep cuts after this stream and see what they're like. Not that I'll be able to afford them. I've got so many bills to deal with right now, so sort of suckies, but oh well. There we go, cutting through there. So if you're wondering why I don't play music on my live streams, it's because it would be royalty free. I think I've said it before. You're better off, if you don't want to listen to my voice or I'm boring, it's always possible, then play your own royalty free music while you're doing your own projects. Or play music that isn't royalty free that you prefer. It's probably smarter. Oh, come on. I'm either getting weaker or they're getting harder to cut through. The little blade's getting blunt. That'll be what it is. The blade's getting blunt. Alright, okay, so Mr. Had to glue you again. Let's grab that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. I feel like I'm actually working rather than just taking it easy. That's hard work. There we go, and another one. And another one hits the dust. Another one bites the dust. There we go. And ha! Alright. So now it's the process of getting the legs stuck on, which I'm a little bit worried about doing because it took me so long to do the other ones. That took an enormous amount of time. And given it's taken me so long to do just that, I need to have a better plan of how to do this. So just give me a second while I think this out. I thought it would be easy just to squish them down. I won't be able to do like more spiders all at once. Otherwise it's going to take too long. Do you know, I'm going to cheat. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to run a bit of glue under each foot. I'm not even going to push it in. And I'll do that again. And now I'm going to press down the whole lot all at once. No, it's not going to work. Is it working? Or I'm just burning myself? No, it's going to be too hard. So I've got to do them for each one. Oh man, that really does suck. That's so time consuming, that is. I can do one side at a time, then hold it in place. What I need is like an air dryer, a hair dryer. That's what I need, is a hair dryer. Glue, stick on, hair dryer. Dry it out, do it again. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, alright. So that didn't work. Alright, so that's one of the tools you'll need to be adding to your list of things you'll need is a hairdryer for drying out the glue, which keeps burning me, but I'm going to grab one right now. Okay, I got my partner's hairdryer. I really hope I don't get myself into trouble or it breaks on me. And if she watches this video, which I'm pretty sure she won't, she'll never know I even used it. That's what I'm hoping. Right, that's maximum speed. Cool. Alright, well, that's all working. Let's give this a shot. I'm just trying to get it done faster, right? It's always the secret. Okay, so first off, glue in the appropriate locations. And press down. Holding down in place. My little fingers need to hold it down like so, and then wow, that certainly helped a lot. Hairdryer, that's what you want. You want a hairdryer. Grab a hairdryer, that'll make it a lot easier. Well, limited success in some of it. It's worked to a certain degree, but I feel like it is going to be just a long process to get the glue to actually hold the feet down. Limited success. I might have to rethink that. That one came out. I spent a lot of time making sure it would work out. These are giving me a lot more trouble. and the glue is breaking free of the wood or the base, so it's not sticking down, which is not what I was hoping for. I was hoping that would actually hold it down. Anyway, that was a good idea, just didn't work. In any case, when you go and buy your spiders, make sure you get some that you don't have to trim the legs off quite so much, and you'll be set. I'm going to. It's hard. It's whether it'll hold it in place. That's the thing. That is a real pain. I was hoping that would be a lot easier than that, but it's certainly not turning out to be as easy as that. I would have thought they would have held it. Oh well, so much for that. So one success, and if I wanted to do the others, it's going to take me like donkey's years to get the rest done, because I've got to probably do one or two legs at a time. And considering how many legs there are to do, it will take me ages to stick them all down and then put the bases on. So I'm going to wrap it there for today and say partial success. We got one done. There are still 7 more left to do. And I'm going to head off and leave you guys to continue whatever projects you're doing. Watch some more YouTube videos or do some other stuff. And yeah. Sorry, it didn't work out quite the way I'd hoped. I'd hoped it would be a lot easier than this. And I thought these little spider dudes would be the simplest way. I mean, you could put them on a larger base. If I'd cut a larger base, I could have put them on something that was much larger, and it would have been probably a lot easier. I wouldn't have to do so much trimming. But never mind. It's one of those things. It always happens. There's always something that sort of trips you up along the way. Anyway, you guys have a good day, night, morning, whatever it is for you, and I'm going to head off, and I'll catch up with you next time. As I said, tomorrow we'll continue on with the barbarian videos, and sprinkled around the week there should be some spell videos, and hopefully the sneak attack will pop out pretty shortly once I've got that all tidied up as well. And I will see you next weekend, and we will continue to make more monsters. Whether that's basing monsters or making monsters. I feel like it's time to make another monster rather than putting a base on a monster and doing conversions. I think we're definitely going to need to do like an earth elemental next weekend. The weekend for me. Today is the weekend for me. My weekend is a Friday in New Zealand, so we'll be back Friday to try and make an earth elemental. So I'll see you later.